wake up in the morning and I greet the sun. Connected with this star is everyone. Infinite energy, pure white light. Your hearts are shimmering like the stars at night. One human mind, one human heart will heal a Mother Earth with this sacred art. Master of ceremonies, humble MC. I sing out the message that was given to me by ancient line of warriors traveling the galaxy. Mother Earth is bigger than the eye could see. We live on a valley like ants on a tree. This is all made up, an illusion to me. There is no poverty, just low paying jobs and low self-esteem. High interest loans, they call payday advances. If you don't have the money, they don't give you chances. Can't pay your rent, can't pay your bills. So much pressure, it'll give you chills. But I try to stay sane, puff two to the brain. Thank you, happiness, you smell so sweet, taste like sugar cane. Everything is one where the people of the sun prophesize to come and share the wisdom of the masters. Don't call me preacher, don't call me pastor. I flow with the flow of a natural disaster, but stay as calm as a Toltec master. Sit meditating, infinite creating, waiting patiently for that next day to come. Where I wake up every morning and I greet the sun. Connected with the star is everyone. Infinite energy, pure white light. Your hearts are shimmering like the stars at night. One human mind, one human heart will heal a Mother Earth with the sacred art. Master of ceremonies, humble MC. I sing out the message that was given to me. Ancient line of warriors traveling the galaxies.
LA Natives Podcast, Las Aslan Natives Podcast, guys.
Yeah.
This is a very, very exciting and special show. We just previewed Greet the Sun. It's a new song off of Zero's new mixtape, which we are going to be releasing, I believe, this week on Bandcamp.
Nice. Yeah,
Fire.
I've had this project for a while.
Fire. That was fire. That was fresh.
Thank you. When I started recording music, especially with El Vuh, we had a lot of tracks that were just done. They weren't in albums, or they were just things that we were continuing to create. And as I started to put out records, I started working on my solo album in the middle of El Vuh. I would, write a song that was going to be specifically for my solo project. So that's where we're at right now. And I only pressed it in a hard copy, and I put it on SoundCloud, but I did not promote it. And so it's really unreleased music. You can't find it on Spotify. You cannot find it on Apple Music. You can't find it anywhere. And, having a meeting with Armando and doing the successful event that we had with Indigenous Peoples Day, and continuing to talk to, my cohorts, all the people in this indigenous hip hop music scene that are speaking the truth, I want to put my name back into the hat, and I'm going to release this mixtape that I have not uploaded to social media or any of that.
Absolutely. And you've been sitting on this mixtape for a while now, right? Like 5 years? More than that, right?
More.
Wow.
More. I wrote this right after El Vuh. But like I said, when you're an artist, it's kind of like you write a song and you feel good about it, but you're like, it's not time to release it, so it's in the bank. So it's a collective of things that I've been working on since the beginning of my career. I was lucky enough, though, to get beats from Anthro Beats.
Anthro Beats, who's Fora's producer.
And I suppose, and I mean, he's up with Escupe and all them fucking great producers that are hitting, that are really kind of leading the example of the new generation of music, and so I was able to be at the beginning of Fora's journey into music, because I had an art studio in downtown LA, and this is when I was writing this album.
And people would probably ask, well, Zero, how come you haven't released it sooner? Or, how come it's not already out? The thing is, guys, believe it or not, it's really time consuming, and a lot of organizing comes into play when it comes to not just releasing singles or videos, but a whole mixtape or album, right? Like,
this is a full project.
Yeah.
This is a full project, and it takes time to kind of decide, okay, this is what I'm going to roll with, right? And so I wasn't like, sometimes artists, they make a song, it sounds dope, it's really dope, and it's really relevant, but it's like you just made it. Like, I listened to this music like 1,000 times before I release it, and I put it together into a project. So these songs are very well thought out. It was post 2012 when I wrote it. So it has a lot of like reflection and kind of getting into the depth of where we are now. See, if I would have released it right on 2012, everybody's happy. Everybody's going, oh, look, life's good. America's good. There is no racism. And so that's why I held that project back, because I knew we weren't good. I knew we were headed somewhere.
The time wasn't ready.
It was there, and it would have did okay. But if I put this song out now, it's like, oh shit, you wrote that yesterday, or you wrote that a month ago, and I didn't. I wrote this shit a long time ago. It's just like, painters don't just paint and then go show it to everybody. Painters work on their painting. It's like working on a song. It's not just writing it down really quick. For me, not for me. For me, it's like a masterpiece. Like I have to go over and over and over and over and just layering it. And this is the result of this mixtape.
It's a 13-track project.
Yes.
And the reason why I think is very important, because timing is key. Timing is everything. And I believe releasing this mixtape now is perfect timing, because ever since the podcast's been created, we've just been building momentum. And it's all about momentum.
Yes, because it's not my career.
It's brand recognition.
Yeah, it's
advertising, essentially, right? Because when you're releasing music, it's business.
Yes,
Zero.
Absolutely. I mean,
Prodac is business, right?
All the way, 100%.
I don't want to put, look, you got to factor in studio time, mastering, graphic design. All that stuff takes months and months and years. As you can see, it took me 8 years to go, Armando, I have this project and I have not released it. And he said, sit on it.
This is the
timing.
album.
But remember, I asked you, I was like, yo, how come it's not out?
We did this a year ago, bro.
Yeah. And remember, I asked you, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I asked you, well, how come it's not out? You're like, damn, I've never got to it.
Yeah.
Because you're so busy.
It's time consuming. And do I have enough promotion to give it what it needed?
Right.
El Vuh I was doing the show.
There was no podcast.
Yeah, there was. And that's where we sat down and I told you, dude, okay, I want to release this music. I want to release this record, but I don't just want to release it like an artist that for me. I'd rather release it to a community of MCs, right? And so he said, well, let's do this podcast. Armando says, let's do this podcast, And with that being said, we took 2 years to just work on this podcast, work on this movement.
Build a network.
Get the brothers from Canada on and put them on here in LA. And all the family from all Turtle Island started recognizing our podcast. Okay, now we got a movement. Now we got a community. Now I'll release this record. Now it's time to kind of share that message that I was meditating on. You know what I mean? And what I love about it is that the new music that I have recorded, that I have not released, it's gonna swish over and it's gonna have this sound and a progressive sound into it. And I'm talking to musicians, so my music career is like really, really, really taking off.
Yes, and I'm definitely gonna be in the works on getting you a dope ass video producer.
Yeah, we talked to Mark Ford. Yeah, Mark Ford. So he was really interested because after Immortal Technique, he was like, dude, so what's up? What, Armando says you have no videos.
I want him to shoot the one that you have with Warlock One. That, man.
Yeah, that one's gonna be fucking powerful, and I think the project's powerful, man. Like,
Look, Prodac.
Yeah.
You know, I know my hip hop. This mixtape alone, on top of Zero's new material that hasn't even been released yet,
Yeah.
is some of the dopest indigenous hip hop you could come across.
That's real. That's real. You're saying
I
that,
listen to a lot of hip hop, and
that's-
then obviously there's that niche
that's
indigenous
big.
hip hop,
That's big.
and this
yeah.
platform, LA Natives Podcast, the foundation is indigenous hip hop, right, Zero?
yeah, the message of, the message of our survival, our brilliance, really focusing more on our community and the strengths of our community and our wisdom. That first song, Greet the Sun, it's important to know that the sun is not just this thing in the sky that goes through it and then goes down and that's it. And we're to put little attention on what that is or what that. So I wrote a song because I've stood up all night and greeted the sun before in a ceremony, you see? And so
You actually make music on what you do.
Yeah.
See, a lot of rappers be faking the funk, right, Prodac?
Yeah, man. Studio gangsters, man.
well, I mean,
You're not a studio gangster. You actually speak on what you do.
yeah,
sure.
I stood up all night with my ceremony family, and we prayed and we greeted the sun, and that inspired me to, and it gave me such a message, right? I wake up in the morning and I greet the sun, connected to the stars, everyone, infinite energy, pure white light. Your hearts are shimmering like the stars at night. One human mind, one human heart will heal up Mother Earth with this sacred art. Master of ceremonies, humble MC, I sing out the message that was given to me by an ancient line of warriors traveling the galaxy. So that's what I saw when I greeted the sun one day after a ceremony. I took all that in, and it ended up on this record. Right. So.
And the title of the mixtape is Tonal y
Nahual.
Nahual.
Tonal energy, Nahual the spirit, right? And there's
Now, Prodac, did you know what that means? Prior to hearing
Nah.
this is another drop for everyone, for all the fans
feel
out
me?
there.
This is the first time that you know what I mean. Hip hop gets in depth with the indigenous community. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
And
it's really rich.
and I want to let everyone know, especially all the dope El Vuh fans, all the, you are part of a group called El Vuh, one of the most legendary indigenous hip hop groups ever in the history of indigenous hip hop category.
Yeah.
That being said,
You had to catch a show of El Vuh. If you grew up out here,
but that
listening,
being said, Zero's evolved, and we're rebranding, and I think this mixtape cover is going to solidify that with the new logo. It's Zero, period.
Yeah. And that's the way we got.
And the reason why we went with Zero, period, because there's another Zero out there that's apparently a big celebrity, so we just don't. We have to separate ourselves.
I kind of like it, art evolves into this thing, and I like that period because I could work with it, and as we grow and add to the movement.
If there's anyone watching, how do you guys like the new logo? Let us know right now in the chat.
Absolutely.
This is the new mixtape cover right here. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Prodac?
yeah, that's
It's
what I was
pretty
looking
dope,
at. That shit's awesome.
Now,
Cisco took that picture.
yeah, that's what I was
Cisco
gonna.
Land.
That's what I was gonna say, man. This mixtape cover is so special because it wasn't just any photographer, bro.
Yeah.
Like if there's anyone who wants to watch or hear a dope interview, make sure you guys go back and watch that interview did with Cisco.
Yeah.
He's natural,
And
right?
you know what I'm gonna point out about this album cover? This is the last time you're gonna see my face like that on my music. From this point on,
Which
I'm gonna be
I
wearing a
believe
mask.
it's essential because this mixtape, the music, and when you made it, it wasn't when you started wearing the mask. Though. I think you were starting wearing the mask recently.
Yeah. And so that's gonna be the evolution of my art as well. And so it's a perfect time to release this record. I feel really good about it. It's people been wanting.
Yo, you had a dope performance at the Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah, absolutely. And after that, they're like, "We're gonna find your music. I can't find your music on Spotify." Same thing.
We did that for a reason. We have to build a momentum, right? Zero, like sometimes yeah, we have to bite our tongue and not release it. But I want to say this. Shout out to Dakota Bear. He's really motivating me to release this music, bro.
Hey, man, the brother is working hard, and he has so many ideas, and we have so much
Think about it.
strategies.
We've been making moves with you not releasing music. Zero.
Yeah, yeah.
You're already an established hip hop artist to begin with.
Imagine down
It's
the
cool
music,
to
the CD,
put
the merch.
music back into the forefront of what's out there,
Bro,
because it's different now.
This is going to be, trust me, all the fans tuning in, watching us, hearing us.
They need it. They've been waiting for
Please go on Bandcamp, 1492 at Bandcamp. Download, purchase the album, purchase the T-shirt.
it. Stream the music.
If the album is going to be in demand, we'll run a vinyl, and let's get it sold out, guys. Like, this is a very important mixtape, not just for indigenous hip hop, but to me,
Dude,
Los Angeles underground hip hop needs this project.
This is a collection series already. Ahead of it, it hasn't even dropped as a collector series. It's gonna sell out.
Because
look,
but I want to shout out a producer that you haven't mentioned yet. I think he has the dopest beats on here. Is it Fez or Fez?
Yeah, Fez.
Fez, bro.
Fez is like, man, DJ Fez is from it doesn't matter. He's up from Northern Cali, but he had this CD of beats, and we were making a song with his brother. He has a really cool guy that he does hip hop beats for, and he left me the CD. And he's like, dude, use whatever you want, dude. I love your lyrics, blah blah blah. Use whatever you want. And I picked a few beats and I started writing this mixtape. It by myself in a fucking room with my Pro Tools and dude, I would press record and then run into the closet and then start rapping, As a matter of fact, shout out to my son Olin, who's studying music out in San Francisco, but he would press play for me too. He would sit on the seat.
Yeah, on the computer.
And all right, this button, boom. And then, it's cool to know that my family was involved. And that's the beauty about this project too, is that if any music, imagine being in that group, El Vuh, and knowing how important it was to Chicano identity and the progression of indigeneity in our community, along with Aslan Underground, along with Quinto Sol, along with these groups that put in fucking 25 years and knew they were not going to get the mainstream recognition. They knew that, and they put it all on the line. And El Vuh was one of them.
Dope? Of Mexican descent.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, man.
Tonal and Cinco
Cholo
and
and
two mix.
Classic. And a lot of people think oh wow, they should have been mainstream or whatever. But those bros are not sellouts. They're not
That
sellouts.
part.
They're not sellouts, bro. They're gonna. That 2Mex was told, hey, you have too many albums out. He's like, I don't care. My fans love it. Right? That's an artist, bro. He doesn't conform to what needs to happen. And that's what we did. Armando, that's what one thing about working with Armando is that he knows how promoters work in LA and music producers and executives, they have a certain way about them. But Armando took a step of intelligence with this project and with me as an artist. He didn't just go, okay, let's hammer out projects, hammer out shirts, hammer out useless shows. No, let's build something. Let's do a podcast. Let people know what your knowledge is. Let people know what your message is.
And no offense to all the promoters out there that throw events, you know what I'm saying? But that was a key word that Zero just mentioned, useless, man. There's so many, shows nationally that are just not even worth going to. There's so much energy goes involved in going to an event. You always want to make sure it's a decent promoter, decent.
And we have an idea for a tour.
Advertising.
Right? We have an idea for a tour. That's why we're releasing the record. Because we're gonna promote it. And we're thinking,
at least now we have music to promote with the foundation and the following that you have through the podcast now.
Absolutely.
And through Manilani Superfoods
And that was
as well.
just-
And through Manilani Superfoods.
that's a big one right there. Because the people that go to Malinali, they're people that are seeking.
We have to make a poster with the QR code. So when people walk in, they could just scan the QR code, either
Bring it right
download
to the
the album, stream it.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds good. You know, we're really organized at this point, and to put out projects that actually make like I know this.
Yes, Zero Raps. If there's any podcast, I'm sure there's so many podcast listeners and followers that were introduced to you to
through
them
just the
through
podcast.
the podcast.
Right.
So man, they got something for them coming.
Yeah, no, this album is very special. It's a very deep knowledge album. Like if you thought El Vuh was deep, you know, Tonal y Nahual is super deep. You know, I had just finished attending, like I said, stay up ceremonies, sweat lodges, really kind of conceptualizing what it was to be a family man and responsible for these children, you know, because when I wrote this, my kids were a little younger, you know, and so it was a really responsible album or mixtape. It's not really an album because I kind of just did it mixtape style, right? But the results were very, very powerful. And here's where I really was proud of it, where when my little son was like, my older son, Olin, was very involved in my advisory things. He advises me all the time. He tells me, how come it doesn't sound really good? Like it doesn't sound like your other albums. And he was freaking 9 years old telling me, like, it doesn't sound the same as the other albums. And I go, but it's a mixtape style. That's like the new, he's all, but he wasn't that into music to know what it was, right? But he had that critical thinking, you know, and his life revolved around music, and now it still does, and multimedia arts. So shout out to my son. I have to mention him when I'm talking about this album.
Let's get into Dawn of a New Age. This one's actually produced by Anthro.
Okay.
What we're seeing today in terms of global warming, climate change, and all the rest of it that goes with that, I do not believe is being caused by mankind. The sun itself is being driven by cosmic forces as well. But we live within a universe of change, and it's foolish of us to think otherwise.
This is the dawn of a new age. The Milky Way is come to turn the page. This is the time where we must be our own sage. Connection is essential to reach maximum potential. I'm the opposite of confidential. The new time is here. The red road is clear, and there's nothing to fear. I use my heart as my ears. Sacred water are my tears from the celestial. I'll connect the soul with the gravitational pull of Metzley's love. That's the moonbeams that shine from above, giving us her light, giving us the will to fight. It's never too late to make things right. This is our mother too, so the land belongs to me and you, and the waters and the rivers and the oceans too. Our universal right. The time is turned from dark to light. Let your heart shine bright, yo.
Do you have a message to humanity that you would?
Pues a todos los hermanos donde llega este mensaje que estoy hablando con ustedes.
To all my brothers and sisters who listen to this message,
Estas palabras no son míos, es de los abuelos.
first of all, these words are not mine. They are words of my ancestors.
En la profecía de los mayas está,
It is in the Maya prophecy
en el tiempo 12 Bactún,
that in the time of the 12 Baktun
13 Ajao,
and 13 Ahau,
el regreso de los abuelos,
it is the return of the
el
ancestors.
retorno de los hombres sabios.
It is the return of the men of wisdom.
Que amanezca,
Let the morning come.
que llegue la aurora.
Let the dawn come.
Dejando este mensaje, que tomen gran miedo al mundo.
So I am here with you, giving you this message right now is not to be afraid, and take this message, spread it throughout the world.
Wow, you know what I loved about your production and the way you just produce music, Zero? You always added some of the dopest speeches and samples, dude.
That
Dude,
sample right
hands
there,
down, that's crazy.
that
Powerful.
sample right there is
Powerful.
Don Alejandro. And I met Don Alejandro about 20 years ago. There was a group of indigenous individuals that would, put workshops on, and they brought him. And man, that brother was like, whoo, man. I've never met a real medicine man. And he told us a 5,000-year story, right? A 5,000 year story. He said, I'm going to tell you a story that's 5,000 years old. And man, that story was mind blowing. I'll let you do the research on Don Alejandro, right? And to pull that sample, it's you know, it's a color, Armando. It's like, I wrote this verse, this music is on the background. What color can I add to it to make it brighter? And it summarized my whole verse. Dawn of a new age. The Milky Way has come to turn the page. We've turned the page. We've gotten back our wisdom. Now it's time for us to implement it, live it, walk it, breathe it. Don't look to leaders. You're the leader. This is the dawn of the new age. This is what they said. He said that the elders would come back. What does that mean? That means that you'll become an elder. You'll implement the prophecy collectively. That's a dawn of a new age. And so Don Alejandro, man, he has really, really strong medicine. And so hearing that story inspired that song.
Man, that's a dope track, man.
That shit was dope.
We're going to play a few more joints.
Hip hop.
Let's get into, I think this one's called Daydreams to Night Dreams.
Oh, this is about, yeah, I'll talk about it after.
Come look at yourself in the mirror, say. Thought if I came and looked at this, I might find my way back, you know. Trying to survive in a fucking war zone. But what I know now, bro, is that I need my familia to do it. Cause we're from East Los, ese.
As the day dissolves and the night appears, I'm walking through the pitch black, fighting my fears. The stupid mistakes that the ego makes. You think you know it all, like who were the fakes and who were the snakes? You're running so fast, you better push them brakes. Tangled up and confused, overworked and abused. Feels like life has no meaning and I'm being used. Fuck your spreadsheets, fuck your red meats, fuck dying for peace. Killing for power only makes a cycle repeat in a negative way. And ignoring the problem doesn't make it go away. This dream state cultivates fear and hate. A nightmare we create when we eat the bait and feast on the lies. The corporate political ties, the innocent cries. I feel the sunrise. My people sleep with open eyes.
Every night I have dreams of you, and every night I awake and I know you're gone. It's true, you're gone.
And I just can't seem to give up. I chase after the sun every time I wake up. Feel my connection with everything and everyone. My intention never bends for anything or anyone. The creator of my own dimension. And in this world, these are my own creations. Happiness and love, abundance from above. My spirit fits like my body, like a hand in glove. The natural flow of the universe, a never-ending waterfall from sky to earth. Filling up the oceans, filling up the planet. You can't break her, she's made of granite and a thick upper crust. The heavens made the earth, and in the earth I trust. I never give up, just adapt and adjust. Sit back and combust and walk the path of love and trust.
Every night
I like the way I ended that.
I
Wow.
have dreams of you, and every night
I'm really proud of this record. Like, it took me a long time to be proud of my music, but this one is like, it's my road of like going from like an inner city life to understanding the realities of dreaming through the Toltec way of understanding, right? But 8 years ago, it wasn't that. 8 years ago, I was going through a fucking hard time. I lost my business. I fucking was getting evicted from my house. A lot of like, I went through a lot, you know? And then I started dreaming, really dreaming, you know? Dreaming like the Toltecs, like our ancestors did, you know? And that song, you know, really allowed me to free myself from a lot of the negative things that I thought were happening to me, but were actually teaching me not to repeat.
That song bleeds East Los though, man.
Yeah,
like
it's straight up East Los, dude. Like if you understand East Los Angeles and the psychology of East Los Angeles, you can hear that song and relate.
That hook too. That person singing. What is that? That was beautiful.
That was a sample that Fez, ended up doing. I'm telling you, this bro's like a hip hop genius. I know we're gonna run into each other once again. It's been a while since I talked to him, but because I've been sitting on this record for a long time. This is like unreleased music. This is the newest. If you're an El Vuh fan, you haven't really heard this record, unless you're a really hardcore El Vuh fan. Then you know that it's on SoundCloud. For a few songs are on SoundCloud. That's it. It's gonna be on Bandcamp, and you're gonna be able to download it and hear it, or you could buy it and support the movement. That's why we do music, man. Let's be real. That's like my hat. Picture a guy in downtown with the guitar, and he puts his hat on the floor and he's singing you a song. That's what that is if you download the song. You know what I mean? When you buy it, you're putting, that support to that message.
There's a lot of hard work.
And the reason why we're going through Bandcamp, because, hip hop right now is so oversaturated. There's from what I read, over 100,000 songs being uploaded per day.
Wow.
And I'm sure 90% of all that shit's trash.
Well, it's not developed.
And that's why the reason why I'm mentioning that, because Spotify and iTunes, it seems like they dominate the whole streaming sphere when it comes to sites. So we're just going the independent route. Yes, we are going to be putting it up on Spotify and iTunes. Of course, it's going to be available on all DSPs across the internet, but we're going to prioritize the Bandcamp. There's a reason why Bandcamp exists, because it actually benefits independent artists.
Yeah, if you're a fan of music, if you're a fan of that artist and he has his stuff on Bandcamp, he's telling you, there's my hat. You could put $5 in there, or you could put $10 in there, or you could put whatever in there, because I'm still going to keep playing this song, right? And I've been playing the same song for 25 years. And it makes me proud to be able to work with Armando, because he's been in that journey with me. He's seen me perform with the RZA, with El Vuh. He's seen me perform with nobody when I started off my solo career.
Yep.
And now we have this movement growing. It's not just, bro, we get calls from Texas. What was that other called? Colorado,
Texas.
This is Turtle Island movement, bro. This is Turtle Island movement. Turtle Island movement, where we reclaim our brilliance, where we reconnect with the natural elements of time. You know what I mean? Let me break something down about time. I was just meditating on it this week, and it'll be the segue into what. Let's play Don Juan Mathis next, or where were you going to plan it? What were you planning?
Don Juan Mathis.
Okay, so before you play that, I want to meditate on time real quick. And it's going to reconnect you to a genetic understanding. Long ago, somebody decided to follow numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? But our ancestors didn't keep time in that way. And I had to really, really think about it. Right? And how do you think they kept time, Product?
With the sun,
right?
Somehow. Yeah.
Just the sun, right? And you thinking like just the movement of the sun? I started really, really asking that question.
So they build themselves some type of a tool.
Maybe. I haven't seen one, and I haven't I'm sure that the pyramids emit shades through certain times of time, but think about it with common sense. They followed the color of time, because time has a color. That's nature's color. In the sunrise, it's a certain color. When it hits a certain part of the day, it turns a certain color. And then it starts moving through the sky, and the earth starts changing colors.
Right, absolutely.
The color of time. The color of time. Each color has an emotion. This is how we reconnect to our ancient understanding. They cannot rape that out of us. Our wisdom is far beyond that. I wrote that song.
Look at yourself.
I wrote this song, Don Juan Matis, with our wisdom in mind. Produced by Anthro Beats.
Anthro.
Shout out to you, brother. Thank you so much for your beats, bro.
Therefore, you must always keep in mind.
This one's actually produced by Fez.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm mistaken then. I thought it was Anthro. It sounds like an Anthro beat.
Only then will you know that any path is only a path.
I'm a warrior from the future, looking at the past, living each moment through life's hourglass. I hold on to nothing, but enjoy everything. I spiral in and out of the Milky Way sacred ring. I carry the blood of my Tata Pancho Villa, y con mi corazón, sueño noche y día. I fly with the eagles and roam with buffaloes. I ride the winds of time, shoot thunderbolt arrows. Aim them at your heart with a masterpiece of art. Look into your mirror, that's where it all starts. The pain of generations is deep within my soul. I burn my white sage in my abalone bowl, and I bless myself, send my prayer to the sky. I never ask why, I never complain. The way of a warrior is to always stay sane. Do away with fear so your mind stays clear. Then you deal with power, but treat her like a flower. Her poison will devour and eat up all your soul. 6 feet deep, buried in a hole. Your ego got too high and you lost control. And if you don't die from your own greed, that's when age and time starts to feed. No one can escape man's true fate. No one has the power to tell death to wait.
Both paths lead nowhere. One has a heart, the other doesn't. One makes for a joyful journey as long as you follow it.
That's my favorite song on that album.
That's some hardcore hip hop right there.
That's my favorite song. I have to say, that's my favorite song to perform.
There's a lot of subject matter
The beat
to take away
selection
from
in
that
there
shit.
is wow, bro. The beat selection in there is true.
Thank you,
a lot
bro.
of
I really
bars.
appreciate that. I respect your opinion, bro.
Wow.
Like for real. Like, cause you're into the new stuff and you know how the new
that
kids
is
are
powerful.
doing it.
That has MF Doom. That shit.
Yeah.
Mob Deep. That shit has deep sounds in there.
And all those people are the people that I used to listen to while I was producing. You know, on my producing journey, because I produced a lot of El Vuh. I produced all the El Vuh records, but this one I didn't. This one I just chose beats. I used my ear to pick, you know, the emotion of the album, because it has a certain, like, what I started learning during this album was that Umbatsman said that the earth travels like a snake in the universe, and that it goes in its up and down motions. And sometimes in those up and down motions, we enter the clouds of the sky, right? The cloud serpent. So
wild. Oh my, that's just wild.
yeah.
All that.
So, and this is what we have inside our DNA. Those understandings still live in, and that's why I'm talking about the color of time. Pay attention to the color of time. And you can reference it to the number time, but I'll tell you, it doesn't have the same meanings. I have to wake up early to take my son to school, and sometimes I wake up right when that sun comes up, man, and it hits right in my eyes, and it's a certain color, and it's a certain emotion. And I get connected to that emotion. It makes me feel happy. So then I think of a flower when it starts to open up, as it starts to see the sun more and more. That's another indicator of time. Nature, color, time. So this is all the stuff that I kind of put together, like not philosophy, but the message behind this record is that. Lead me into that kind of understanding. Because El Vuh was, know your history, know where you're from, know that people are doing bad things to you. And this is more like, know nature on your own terms.
We're going to be playing more joint, and this is like a sneak preview, guys. You guys are listening to this live. This is the first time people are kind of listening to it in a digital format, because it's always been on CD.
Yeah, it's only been on CD.
So let's go ahead and I think we're going to get into Don't Forget the Song, produced by Anthro, I think.
Yes, that one. Oh, man. Second favorite. Thank you, everyone in the chat who's leaving comments, negative or positive.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys.
Nuestro sol se ha ido.
Our sun has gone.
Nuestro sol se ha ocultado y nos ha dejado sumidos en las
Our
sombras.
sun has went to the underworld.
Pero sabemos que volverá a salir.
But we know that you'll be back.
I travel through the Aztec calendar ages. I speak the tongue of mystic sages. Escaped all your prisons and all of your cages. I live the evolution of human stages. From hunter-gatherer to great mathematician. I built the pyramids in complex position underneath the heavens. I left a map of stars, follow the red road. It isn't that hard, it just takes all of your will and the warrior skill. Never to spill the sacred blood that fills and courses through my veins. I carried all of the pain, I carry the heavy chain of a conquered people. For 500 years we have never been equal. Deported immigrant in my own land. Neglected orphan who don't understand why their mom and dad hasn't come home for days. Hungry and alone, left in the days. Put your hand over your heart and repeat after me. This is starting to look like Nazi Germany. Murdering the peaceful with police brutality. And the racist Congress passes bills against the poor. Silent weapons for silent wars. But my heart stays pure and my love endures. With Mama Tonancy, I will find a cure. With my grandpa Tatawari, my intentions stay strong. And my soul belongs to the line of stars. Deep in the Milky Way, in the Nipi I pray. For the warriors of heart to come and take away. With this verse I'll slay the animals of prey. The Atlachinoli sun has come our way. Lead your family to a brand new day. Lead your family to a brand new day.
Dejaron para nosotros nuestros venerables abuelos. Y con ese mismo cariño y empeño, hemos de inculcárselo a nuestros hijos para que ellos lo enseñen a los hijos de sus hijos de sus hijos. Y no olvidemos decirles y enseñarles. ¿Cómo será? ¿Cómo se reunirá? ¿Cómo tomará fuerza?
Wow.
Yeah.
That
What he
was
said
dope.
at the end was this is a speech given by Cuauhtemoc to the last Mexicas, right? He tells them, teach your children, directly teach your children. And they're going to teach their children. So that their children of their children of their children will remember. It's an oral tradition. That's why I have my stance against books. Because they're not earth-based. Shout out Lucas, he came up with that term. Earth-based teachings. Earth-based teachings is between you and the great earth energy. That's earth-based teachings. You can't learn that in books. You can reference books. Books are important. But you and your connection with the great energy, which we call Mother Earth, that's the most important connection. That album really kind of outlawed that. So this is what this is what Cuauhtemoc is saying, the great Latuani. He's saying that we are the great grandchildren that remembered this movement, Armando. Dakota Bear going, I'm from Treaty 6 territory, I'm Cree, is a prophecy that came back 500 years ago. 500 years ago, Cuauhtemoc spoke about these children that would remember because they were taught orally. Eventually, the teaching reached their ears like the wind and gave them back the knowledge that was theirs. That's the prophecy.
Bro, these joints, these tracks, bro, there's a lot to take away. Right, Zero?
Yeah. I like, on that track, my favorite line is, and the racist Congress passes bills against the poor. Silent weapons for silent wars. That's us. What do you think they're fucking targeting when they take your rights away? Right?
People.
But in 2012, none of this shit was happening. There was no police brutality. There was no Black Lives Matter. There was nothing. That's why I sat on this record. I play this song right now and people are like, yeah, police brutality. Oh, shit, yeah. But we were taking, anytime they beat us up, right? It didn't have to be like a George Floyd protest. It didn't have to be any protest that police are beating us up for, right? In our hoods, in our neighborhoods, in our realities, going back to La Loma, Palo Verde, and Bishop, they used to beat our ass.
They've been beating her.
They've been beating our ass.
It's just not televised.
Yeah. But now that song is relevant because now it's all over the place, and people are waking up to the, what situation we're in. And this album really kind of gives clarity because I saw it coming. We saw it coming because the elder said that a great day would come, right? That our consciousness would return. And everybody thought, wow, no more problems. Nuh-uh. It gets harder to be who you are now. But that doesn't mean you can't be who you are, who you were meant to be, who were you brought here to be. Contribute to a community. Love your family. Appreciate your friends that are around you. This is our mission. And tap into the connection and science of time. That's what Tonal y Nahual, right? The energy and the spirit. And those two words have multiple meanings. But when I put them on the album, it meant energy and spirit. Right? Tonal, your energy. Nahual, the spirit. Your spirit is your essence. You're who you are. Right? Your personality, your gender, everything that is you. That's encompassing this spirit.
Real life energy.
This song I wrote 18 years ago. I produced this one.
I didn't have much, but I didn't fuss, even though other kids had more than me. I kept a smile on my face so they couldn't see the anger built up inside of me. I couldn't help being born in poverty. Welfare checks and social security was what my mom's used to feed me. Man, I hated being poor. Using food stamps at the corner liquor store. I never had change for the video games. I was a kid in the back. I used to steal my Snicker bars and kick cats. Man, I hated who I was. What a kid does when he has no direction, self-esteem infection. No answer for his question, no father for his lesson, no father for his lesson. My life sometimes could be like a knife. My life sometimes could be like a knife. My life sometimes could be like a knife. It could be like a knife. It could be like a knife. My life sometimes could be like a knife. My life sometimes could be like a knife. My life sometimes could be like a knife. It could be like a knife. It could be like a knife. Think back to the time when I had my first baby, and that shit was crazy. Watching my kid come out of the womb, the feelings I had in the hospital room, I can't explain how I felt. All I know is that she made my heart melt. 2 years later, her mom's broke out. Just like that, my little girl was gone. It didn't work out between me and her moms. It hurt so much, it broke my heart to know that me and her had grown apart. But that's how it is, that's how it goes. No one really knows which way the wind will blow, or if the sun will shine tomorrow. This is a song about my sorrow. For when I reminisce about my life, it cuts me like a knife. My life sometimes cuts me like a knife. My life sometimes cuts me like a knife. My life sometimes cuts me like a knife. It cuts me like a knife. It cuts me like a knife. My life sometimes cuts me like a knife. My life sometimes cuts me like a knife. My life sometimes cuts me like a knife. It cuts me like a knife. It cuts me like a knife.
Wow.
That guitar.
Dude.
That guitar in the background, like that rock, that bass
Shout
line,
out.
you got, oh my God.
Oh, shout out. I'm glad you mentioned those two components of that song because shout out to Limon from Quinto Sol. Like that bro's my musical brother. Like we can sit in a room and come out with an album. Like easy. That's how easy it was. I was like, hey, Lemon, I have this song. I think it's too plain though. What do you think? You hear it. And he's all, dude needs a bass line. Dude needs this guitar. I was like,
That's crazy. That's a crazy guitar.
And it fit because that song is about it cuts me like a knife, meaning all of our life is going to challenge us. And the hardest challenges sometimes take a little pinch of us. But you got to keep going. You got to keep going. It was the hardest thing to, grow up poor. And the humiliation that our parents feel because it's not their fault that they can't provide what the system is not allowing them to do freely. They're being oppressed. That's the definition of oppression, is not being able to fulfill your potential, but more like giving obstacles. But that's cool. That's why I wrote this song, because life is going to cut you. But a cut isn't a fatal wound. They're just things that happen in your life, and you need to get strength from them, and remember that these are just little moments in time that pass and that make you stronger, because, eventually the wound heals. But if you're not healing your wound, this is kind of the song that you want to hear, You want to hear that.
So there's 13 tracks total. It's going to be on Bandcamp. We're going to be uploading it. Should be available no later than Thursday, Friday. Please, guys, as soon as we promote it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, share the link, support. You could stream all the tracks for free on Bandcamp, but if you want to take it up a notch, just purchase that full digital download or buy a physical CD, buy a t-shirt. All we ask is just share the content, share the mixtape. It's going to be one of the dopest projects you'll ever hear.
It's free to support.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you just share the music and join this movement, because although I am releasing a mixtape, it's about the movement. It's about the collective family that we have at Mali Nali. It's the collective family that we build with Underground Hip Hop Blog and the professional relationship we have. It's about meeting new MCs that are developing and are teaching me something, right? Because we're about to release some new limited edition stuff for our audience through Bandcamp.
Yes.
Through Bandcamp. So look for it on Bandcamp. Everything's going to be centralized, You're
going to be able to find the music link on the LA Natives Instagram profile link, along with Zero's profile link. I'll go ahead and send you the link as well.
Okay.
Download the mixtape, support, listen to the tracks, absorb the tracks, come to the podcast and let us know how do you feel about the songs.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to thank you for letting me and allowing me time to explain myself and explain my art and give you a preview of what is yours. The music is yours, right? If you believe in the message, then you'll support. No hard feelings if you don't, right? But share the message. Share the message that we're here, we're back, that we're stronger than ever, that our great, 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 great grandfathers weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. That we would awaken Turtle Island. And that we would put things where they need to be again. Not through violence, but through intelligence and connection. We'll see you next Wednesday. Tonal.